Okay, I think we are live. It's a little bit dark here. Let's see if we can fix that. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to get into the topic in a couple of minutes. So if you are watching this live stream after the live stream, please just scroll 2 minutes forward and you'll get straight to the topic itself. First, a little bit of information to you guys. Um, I've made it in the settings so that you have to be a subscriber to this channel to join the live stream. And I'm doing that, well, obviously, because it's nice if people subscribe to this channel. If you are new to this channel, I'm doing mostly live streams here. My main channel is linked in the video description. And this is my live stream channel, so to speak. I do some live streams here, or most of my live streams on this channel and the main channel are for members only. So you can choose to become a member. You can also gift or give membership to other people here, actually. That's a new option that YouTube has rolled out. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, that was, I think, a couple of minutes. So, also, if you really want me to see your comment, you can give me a super chat. It will cost some money, but it will make your comment pop up so that I will certainly see it. So, I will do as yesterday. Start. I will start by talking about the thing, the topic, and then will get to the chat, and we're trying to stay on topic here to the best of our abilities. 59 people so far, are 62 now watching, and hello to all of you. Okay, so now it's a touchy subject, this one. Um, First of all, conversion therapy. Now, what is conversion therapy? I didn't know. It sounds like something very clinical and and all that. So, but it's not. It's not therapy at all. Now, conversion therapy is a sort of treatment, if you will. Again, treatment is not the right word here, maybe, but it's something that has been used to make people stop being gay. Yeah. So typically, this has been going on in our part of the world, in Christian sects, and not only that, but in earlier times it was a common way to treat. I'm doing this with my fingers. People as they back then viewed being gay as an illness, a mental illness. So it's, I mean, it is kind of shameful that it has been I don't know the laws in other countries, but in Norway, I think actually it's a proposition to become a law that it is now illegal to do conversion therapy. So a lot of, no, not a lot of, some few, very few actually, um, people who claim to be Christians, they are bitching a lot about this. because they're saying that, well, it is my duty to help people live by the Bible and all that. What we do now, and I've looked into this, is that if you try to treat people being someone that they are not, it's not going to end well. So it's with good reason that they are making this so-called conversion therapy illegal. You won't find any psychologist or psychiatrist um, trying to treat people for being gay. Now, when I've said that, I also need to say that if you look at clinical records, um, you will actually find that some people have changed their sexuality from being gay to being straight as part of a larger process of getting to know yourself and so on. That has happened, but that's not conversion therapy, right? So, okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. I have worked as a therapist, but I'm not. I would never, if I was not uh, a psychologist or psychiatrist, so I'll leave it there. But now we all know what conversion therapy is. And I believe it's a good thing that it is not legal to do that to people. And back in, not too long ago, they used electroshocks on people to make them stop being gay, and it was kind of cruel. So the key point here is that people must accept who they are. Uh, we must learn to accept who we are and be positive about who we are. You know. Um, no, no, John, I didn't say it's a good thing. No, did I say a good thing? No. If I did that, that must have been a slip of the tongue. No, I absolutely don't. No, as I've been saying now for a few minutes, it's not a good thing. It it's not a good thing. So it's early here. I hope I didn't say anything wrong. Okay, so let me just make this very, very clear. Conversion therapy is not a good thing. It's, as I said, it's quite well. I won't say it all over again. I'm I'm doing my best here. Sorry about that. No, no, not a good thing. It's becoming a criminal to do that here in Norway, and it should be in all countries. It's no, no. So it has harmed people, and what I'm saying is that um, we should all learn to accept who we are. Now, of course, it's easy for me to say. I get that, because I'm I'm obviously straight man with a family and quite ordinary. So it's easier for me to fit in and all that, I guess. Um, but still, we must all learn to accept who we are. So now, I hope I made that very clear. I'm yeah, I hope I made that very clear. If I don't know, if I said that it's a good thing, some I don't know. Did I say that? I meant it's not a good thing. Okay. Now this is in real life, and I am speaking in English, which is not my native language. Okay, so yeah, okay. Now, here's an interesting thing that we maybe should try to think a little bit about now. What I've said so far is not only what I believe to be true, but um, it doesn't, it's a mainstream opinion to have, I guess. Um, what I'm going to say now is not. So you could say that conversion therapy, it involves having people in an environment where they are pushed towards having preferences that they didn't really have to start with. They are pushed towards being someone that they really are not. They are encouraged not to accept themselves as they are. And people will gladly help them, again, doing this with my fingers, help them um, changing who they are, how they come across as individuals, and even their sexuality. And sexuality, it's one of many parts of who we are. Um, I just want to point my finger at something that I don't really have to connect the dots here. I think you can all do that yourselves. Is there another movement, or is there another place in modern society where the things I just mentioned are actually accepted? Um, you see, I find it ironic that a movement that will gladly promote giving hormones to kids, that they are cheering now that conversion therapy is made illegal, which it should be. Can you? I mean, I surely I can't be the only one who sees that there is. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, and not only are they pushing people, insecure people, maybe people who are suffering from mental illnesses, like and things like that. Not only are they pushing an agenda onto them, but also, and we're talking about kids here, oftentimes. Also, they will gladly not only give them hormones, but they will also have them surgically altered or changed. And that can't be, once they do that, you can't go back. So, and here's my take on this. People are different. Um, and and there's a um, if you're a man, you don't have to be super masculine. Not well, if that's natural to you, that's how it should be. But what what if you're not? Well, you're still a man, and there is nothing wrong with that. What about who are women who are not so very feminine? Well, that's fine. the key here is we need to accept who we are. Well, we should always try to improve ourselves and become happier and more fulfilled as human beings. Um, but surely I can't be the only one who sees how this one thing is completely accepted, almost expected, and if you don't go along with it, you're a bigot. And the other thing is outlawed, is made illegal, which it should be. So, I mean, here's what I think. I think lots of people are making that connection, and they are seeing how crazy this is. Um, but they can't speak up about it. You will be straight out canceled. And there's a reason why I struggle a little bit finding the right words here. And I just want to say again that I have no problem with people being whatever they are. You know, it's and all. It's just that the point here we need to accept ourselves, and we also need to accept that people are different from us, and that's fine. You know. Um, so yeah, that's what I think. You know. Okay, let me get to the chat here. Um, let's see here. It is easier for me to know what you're trying to say if you um, write full sentences. By the way, garden prepping. Good to see her, and thanks for the super chat. Thanks a lot. Yes, we should not. Yeah, we are talking about. Yeah, let's get into that. We're talking about two different movements, actually. I I must say this is something I don't know much about. It's not part of my world. I tried to look into it a little bit, but maybe I'm wrong on this. But who knows? Uh, as someone just wrote here, um, gay rights and all that, it is not the same as the trans movement, obviously, but I believe they the trans movement is very different from um, the traditional gay rights. Do they call it that? I don't know. When I was much younger, that was the term they used. And it is very difficult to see if I mean I can't really now I don't know again because I'm not in that position obviously, but uh, at least me, I can't see that there is discrimination against gay people now. I don't see that. Where is that? I'm sure there are people out there who just hate gay people, but I can't see such a discrimination. Um, and when it comes to the trans agenda, it seems like it is very much about trying to change our perception of human beings and what we are as a species, um, which is not the same as the gay rights movement and all that. Yes, North Shore is saying that keep your comments clean and speak like adults. We will delete your comment if you use rude language, if you are disrespectful to people, and if you are disrespectful to other people in the chat, you will be banned from the channel altogether. Um, so, so there you have it. Tom D, thanks for the donation. You are God. You got a community. There is an female to male transgender there, 16-year-old. 16-year-old. I think when you're 16, it's much too young. You don't know that much about yourself when you're 16 years old. That's my take on this. But yeah. Now the most supporting comments I get when I talk about this, and I don't talk about this often because I feel it's something I don't know much about. So this is just my attempt of trying to present some connections here to you guys. Tom, thanks for and yeah, I said so already, but thank you. And John, thank you for the super chat. Thanks a lot. I would also say that if it's like if I'm like this, if someone told me that he or she is transgender and wanted to be called the other uh, the other sex, right? I would have no problem with that, but it's just decent, I think. But when they start making this a law, you can't say that. You have to say this and so on. That's where I get the problem. When you start changing the language and so on, that's no, that's not okay. Yeah, well, and I also think that there are cases where people, again, I don't know much about this, but there might be cases where someone will have a better life presenting himself or herself as the other sex. You know, that's it seems like that's the case in for some people, but for kids, I mean, we need to wake up. This is it's insanity. Um, Tom, I'm sorry to hear that about this girl. I'm sorry to hear that. When it comes to, I just wanted to mention it. The person page, because you can't say the name now, can you? Well, you can say the new name, the boy name, but you can't. It's like this now. You can't say. It's funny. It starts with an E and then it's an L and an L and E and an N and page. Actor, actress, something in the USA. You can't say the old name now. People are being cancelled for saying that name. What if that's your name? You're a woman and that's your name. And I actually checked, there are more than 70 people in the USA with that name. So they're having a bit of a hard time now, I guess. um, and it's funny, it's funny how it's become. And if you look at that case, it's so, I tried to make a video about it. I had to take it down actually, And if you look at that, what's being done there, the things that have been cut off, yeah. What I'm hoping is that in the near future, people will look back at this and similar cases and shake their head and say that, they actually did that to people. Why didn't people like that get the proper help before they started carving them up and cutting things away off their body? You know, and I will never have anyone tell me which words to use. I'm a novelist, and if some prick on Twitter or in Google or somewhere starts deciding that I can't use proper language, proper, decent language. What I just said there, that was one rude word. I don't use rude words very often. But if they try to dictate what I can say and not say about these matters, I mean, we're talking about concepts that are as old as humanity itself. And if they try to dictate that, I mean, I'm not going to let anyone do that. It's not going to happen. Maria says that's why freedom of speech is first, because they knew it was the most important. Yes, without freedom of speech, you don't have any freedoms. Yeah. Well, David, I can curse like a sailor, and I mean, I'm very good at it actually, but I try not to do it here because um, kids might be watching, you know. So, yeah, again, on one hand, they are making it illegal to treat, and again, I'm doing this with my fingers, like treat. It's not treatment, right? It's mistreatment, but they say treat uh, gay people so that they will stop being gay. So that they're making that illegal, which they should, because it is abuse of vulnerable people. But on the other hand, they have no problem pushing an agenda about human beings that is completely against nature, completely unhealthy, and they have no problem starting to put a knife to kids, cutting things off them. That's fine. That's fine. In fact, if you have any problem with that at all, you're a bigot, you know? So surely we must be able to see the craziness here and the inconsistency here. So yeah. Okay, so let me take a look here at the chat. It's like if someone thinks that what I'm saying here is hateful, they need to check the wiring in their little brain, or because I I find that what I'm saying, I'm trying my best to use logic and reason here. And you could say that, well, but um, those people, the gay people who can't accept themselves, they are pushed into this because of the environment, because they are part of a Christian sect, and so on. Well, you could say the same about those usually young people who are going to the doctor asking for hormones and stuff, and getting operated on. You could say that. Well, actually, you could say that there is no shortage of manipulation going on on social media when it comes to this. Yeah, Kristen says, I have gay friends who are horrified at this. Yeah, and again, it's like if you're a man and you're gay, you're still a man. I don't think they think about themselves as not being a man. I mean, it's again, I'm just applying some logic here. So it's I can't even see how uh, gay rights and all that can be part of the same movement as the trans movement because it's so different. It's not about the same. One thing, or the gay community. I don't know. Is there such a community? Well, let's just say there is. Uh, it's over here, and you have, and they're just saying, "Oh, we are like this, and we want to be accepted for who we are." Right? So that's fine, of course. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Um, yeah, exactly. Leave the kids alone, of course. But then you have people over here who are saying that there is no such thing as a what do you call it, genders, the traditional understanding of genders. There is no such thing, um, and they won't even accept basic biology. Those two things, those two movements, if you will, I can't see how they can even walk in the same parade, But what I think, and again, I don't know. I don't know any gay people, but if I did, I would ask if if they are comfortable with this. My guess is that many of them are not, but they can't speak up about this because then they also will be called a bigot and this and that. And actually, there is actually a guy in here in Norway who is the editor of a magazine, um, and he happens to be gay. I mean, he's very critical about this whole new thing, this trans movement and all that. He's very critical about that, and it doesn't help that he happens to be gay. No, he's still called a bigot, and it's so. So no, I'm not on Discord. No. Uh, Emphasize. Thanks for the super chat. Um, yeah. There are some words I can't read, but we must also remember that there is a lot of money in this. If you make people, and this is a bit of a sidetrack, but if the pharmaceutical industry, what they want people to be dependent on using their products, their pills and potions, from birth to the day they die, basically. And they want them to be dependent on that. So, why is Pfizer investing heavily in certain um, I try to avoid these words, but recreational drugs, so to speak. And they are. You can look it up if you want, because they know that it's hugely accepted now, especially in the USA, and they want the money, and they know that even if people deny this, they are addicted, and they want it every day, And so Pfizer is investing heavily in this, and you can read about this if you want to. Many of you will not want to know about that. Um, Same with thing with Big V, as we call it, that's been rolled out uh, to fight the COOF. And the same with this agenda, where I'm I'm sure that they in their boardrooms they are smiling and laughing about how easy it is to get people on board with living a life that they couldn't live if they were not on some kind of daily medication. So just watch, that's terrible. Your neighbor, and they started transition at age 5. When I was 5, I was mostly concerned with Lego, building Lego, and making maybe there was I remember one time I made a trap in the sandbox at kindergarten. That trap was about 5 centimeters deep, I guess, and covered it with leaves because I was annoyed at another boy. And girls were kind of mysterious beings. Um, and yeah, uh, it's insanity. When you're 5 years old, you know that you're a boy or a girl, but that's all. That's and you shouldn't really know much more than that. Yeah, you know. Um, so it is insanity. I think that the yeah, Bersingatoric says, I thought I was a ninja when I was 5. Yeah, at some days I thought I was a dog because we had dogs, and I spent a lot of time with dogs. And North Shore Preparedness says, at 5 I was busy with Hot Wheels cars. It's like this. What if Big Sister dresses up little brother in a princess dress and tells him that now you're a princess and go and dance around in the living room? And what if it's a little brother is like 4 years old? He will probably do that because it's funny and Big Sister told him, and so on. Um, so it would take about 2 minutes to convince a little brother that he is now a princess. You know, it's it's like you could do the same. You could convince him that you are a dinosaur now. You can get him or her a dinosaur suit. You are now a dinosaur, or you are He-Man, which uh, when you guess some of you know who He-Man was. Uh, and Evo. Yeah, I won't read that, but that happened to you. Okay. Um, so it's like, and again, if we go a few steps further, what if someone has a what is it that they call it, non-confirming gender identity or something like that? Well, actually, you know what? If that's what you want and you're an adult, that's fine. Um, just be yourself. You know, I would guess that that wouldn't be your first choice for most people, but still, I would say be yourself and accept yourself. Don't go taking hormones and cutting things off, you know, because that's not healthy. It's this is one of these things where it's so obvious, it's so obvious. You want to grab these people by the shoulders and scream it in their face because it's so obvious, but they can't see it, you know. Um, let's see here. Christian says my oh, okay, Roy, I have to read this one. 5, there's a picture of me wearing an old army steel helmet from Vietnam, and I have an unlit cigarette in my mouth while wearing aviators. Okay, well, and Christian says, my daughter at 8 had a friend who announced she was pansexual. I I'm not sure what that is, but and I looked it up. It means okay, it means attracted to men or women. I was like, hello, you're 8. When you're 8, you're not attracted to anyone. Well, I guess 8-year-olds, probably mostly girls, they can have, like a childish crush on someone. If there's a boy who has a nice sweater on at school, like, or his hair looks nice that day. But it's like you're a kid. You know, okay, loving the person, not the gender. Okay. Oh, um, okay. Jimbo says I wasn't into girls until I was a teenager. No, no, that's that teenager. That's when you're 13, and yeah, that's natural. I'd say that's completely natural. That's from what I can remember how it used to be, because you were a child up until you know that age. Well, I think you're a child at 13 years old as well, but um, yeah. Yeah, I don't. I if these terms, bringer of change. They call bisexual, pansexual now, and weight. No, you're right. Weight is that to include the non-male and non-female people, and the ones who don't identify as human. Well, don't ask me. I have no idea. Someone writes there, Griff Avo. On the difference is just whatever the person prefers to call themselves. Um, I I don't understand this. This is too complicated for me. Um, yeah, actually, I've heard about people who pretend to be animals, and what can I say? They are not. Well, we are all animals in a way. We are primates, but they pretend like, well, I'm a wolf, and so on. Well, sorry, but no, you're not. Um, and you have to ask yourself, are they doing this to get attention? I mean, we're living in the social media age. Um, okay, okay. And Carola Haraldsdottir uh, says, thanks for the super chatter. You're saying souls have no gender. Uh, this is about reincarnation. That thing there. Okay. Um, and Rick Mountains, I didn't see you there, but good to see you as always. And just watch all the lots of members are here. Um, yeah. Well, again, I'm trying my best here to apply logic and reason, and in this case, it's very simple, isn't it? I do think, and this one I have looked into, there are people who are born as um, somewhere in between man and woman, right? And of course, uh, th- I'm I'm not saying those people don't exist, and of course they should be accepted just like everyone else. Um, but I'm referring now to people who are not like that. But yeah, I guess you know what I'm trying to say here. Um, so okay, not one says I wished I was a wolf when I was a kid. You know what? I remember. I still remember. At one time, I thought I had read somewhere. I'm sure it was a comic or something in a superhero comic. That if I ran across the lawn in a special way and I jumped after a few steps, I would actually take off and fly. So I mean, uh, and I was convinced that that would work. And I tried. I think I tried more than one time. And I can't remember which superhero did that, or it was something like that. It is obviously a few years ago. It was not yesterday. I tried that. That would have been funny, by the way. Um, um, and there was one guy actually, and this is also one of those very distant memories. One older boy in the neighborhood who managed to convince me that, and we had a boat. Well, I actually had a dinghy, and it was on shore, and there was a little like apartment for bait and so on in the dinghy. And he said that if I put this little stick um, in this spacer and I put a lid on it, if you wait a little bit, it will have turned into a Smurf. And the Smurfs, the little blue ones. So, and he managed to convince me that's actually that there was some kind of magic there. So I was sitting there, I remember, and he was, I'm sure he was sitting like like this because he managed to trick me. And he took the lid off. He took the lid off, and of course there was still, the stick was still there. No Smurf. I was very disappointed. uh, so yeah, I was about 18 years old at the time. No, it's one of those very, very early memories. So early that actually maybe it was a dream. I don't know. Uh, no bundle of sticks now. You're not getting me to say the word. Yeah. Um, yeah, maybe it was Peter Pan actually that made me run across the lawn trying to take off. Maybe it was. Leona says, I love Peter Pan and wanted to fly like he did. Yeah, well, maybe it was. Maybe it was Peter Pan. Um, or maybe it was the Incredible Hulk because he could jump, you know, but I can't remember. It's obviously quite a few years ago. Um, that kid was probably Gargamel in disguise. Yeah. Well, I used to collect Smurfs. I saved up some money, and when I had enough, I bought another Smurf. So, yeah, I had them on a shelf in my room. Vilkas, thanks for the super chat there, and thank you for those kind words. Maria had a crush on Hulk. Uh, okay. Um, yeah, I always had a problem with Hulk, and I'll tell you why. Because there is no fabric that is that stretchy, and I'm talking about his pants. He would be naked. He would be in the nude, wouldn't he? When he had when he has turned into the Incredible Hulk, you know. And oh, it was before it turned green. Okay, yeah. Well, and especially back in those days when it was, Hulk was the new superhero. Um, eh, I mean, the fabric back then was not as flexible. I think they didn't have yoga pants back then. I think so. He would be naked. Can you imagine that? A naked Hulk jumping and landing. Not that wouldn't be a comic suitable for kids, would it be? No, no, would not look nice. Can you imagine that standing there on the ground and then the Incredible Hulk, butt naked, comes landing like this? Not good, not good, not a good image. So, uh, there you have it. Um, maybe he got some special clothes made. Yeah, maybe. Um, Maria needed that laugh. Well, that's awesome. Uh, Robin Hood movies, yeah, they also had tights. Yeah, yeah. But actually, I want to say this in a way, you could say that they are more historically correct than some of the newer Hollywood adaptations of Robin Hood and so on. Uh, you know. But anyway, I'm going to end the live stream very soon, unless you have some questions in the chat. I suppose they will demonetize this live stream as well. They always do that when, well, yes, I have 3 channels, yes. They are all linked in the video description. And yes, it is nice if you hit the like. That's nice if you can do that. My quest for more land. Well, it's difficult now. Well, it's actually easier now than it used to be because people are starting to sell their houses, and we want to sell what we have and buy a large property. We don't need all these buildings, but we need a lot of land, and preferably by the sea. So yeah, they are still doing the logging. Now, this is not the season. Now, they do it mostly during winter and early spring. But they did cut down a lot of trees. And I finally figured out why, and it's very simple. It's to get firewood that they will sell because of the increased electricity prices. And also they are sending a lot of the trees to the EU. So Norway is not part of the EU, but they are sending the timber, lumber, well, out of Norway to be cut up and made into wood pellets because that's so environmentally friendly. Yeah. Yeah, they've started rolling out in the fourth injection here. They are saying if you're more than 75 years old, you should go and get your 4th little injection. Yeah. So yeah, so that's it's not going away. It's not going away. Yeah, Norway oil. Let me just say a few words about that. Well, it's kind of complicated in a way, but Norway has a lot of oil and gas, mostly oil. And that has made Norway very rich. It hasn't made us, the people, rich, but, well, of course, there are some, makes it easier to support people who can't work and so on and so on. But for a nation that has built its wealth on oil and gas, now what will happen in the future if we don't use oil and gas anymore? Well, guess what? We won't be a rich nation anymore then, will we? Unless we find something else to do. So we are seeing this naive attempt to make the wind turbines replace the oil industry. It's not going to. It's not realistic. And in the process, they will be destroying Norwegian wilderness, the Norwegian coastline, and it's going to be disastrous for us living here. There is another aspect to this when we're talking about electric power, right? In Norway, we get that mostly from the waterfalls. Now, that is actually environmentally friendly. it is renewable, and we could just use what we have. We have enough to warm all the houses with electric power and so on and so on. And we could become maybe the most environmentally friendly nation on the planet if we're talking about that, you know. But they don't want that, do they? The politicians and so on. They don't want that because they are exporting the power. And I have walked in the woods near the border. I have seen the power lines going across the border into Sweden. Sweden is a part of the EU, and it's connected to the large cables that goes down into continental Europe and so on. And they are chopping down even more forests to make room for even more power lines. So instead of saying that the power that we are creating here in Norway belongs to the people, they are saying, well, you companies, you can just sell to highest bidder. And the result has been disastrous. The price of electric power in Norway is now through the roof. People are struggling, and it's not going to get any better. So, what they're saying is that the politicians again, well, we will solve this by building wind turbines. Yeah, that's what they're saying, the idiots. They're not going to solve that, and that's a lie. I don't think they even believe it themselves. They're just going to create more power that they will sell to highest bidder outside of Norway. And people who are already struggling, they will be struggling in the future as well, and even more. And I hate to remind people about this, but now that they're talking about power rationing, yes, they are saying that we might have to have a rationing of your your electricity this winter. It kind of gets cold in Norway during winter. So how is that going to work? Now we have a fireplace. We would be okay, you know. I'm just saying that this we didn't have to have this problem. We could just say, no, you can't export this power. It must go to the Norwegian people. Problem solved. No. It's greed. It's greed. They are greedy. So yeah, rationing electricity. Um, yeah, going to be fun. Now I live in the south of Norway, so the winters here we get, you know, maybe -10, -15 Celsius some days, but usually it's like between 0 Celsius and -5 Celsius during winter. So it's not as bad as in most other parts of Norway. Um, but it's not going to be very nice if they start shutting off the power. But what I think is that now that they have rolled out the smart meters, now we don't have a smart meter. We refuse to have a smart meter, but I'm not sure, but I think they can turn off specific parts of your house, so they can say that, well, we're not turning off the heat in your house, but when we ration power, we will make it so that you can't have the lights on, or you can't use a washing machine, things like that. You can't take a shower, and so on. Yeah, it's going to be funny, quite funny. So yeah, well, we have a fireplace and it's right in the center of the house, and the house has two floors, so it pretty much heats up the warms up the entire house. And we have a lot of firewood. And yesterday I cut up fallen firewood from our own property, just fallen branches and stuff. Two wheelbarrows full of firewood just from that, I also purchased a very small um, chainsaw. Uh, it's perfect. It's on electric power. I have a one on a larger one that goes on. No, actually, I don't have. Can't remember now. I had two or three chainsaws, but anyway, I needed a very small chainsaw, and I'll probably keep it in my car because where I live, I see firewood all over the place, fallen down trees and stuff. And it takes 5 minutes, and then you have chopped up some logs, and you can throw it in the trunk, and it's that way you get free firewood. It doesn't take that long before you have filled up your whole shed. So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, you should all, as Maria says, backup plans is important. So yeah, gardening as well. We're getting into the prepper stuff here. That's important as well. Um, yes. Okay. Emerald there. Thank you for saying that. Some countries are already asking to conserve hot water, and if you don't, your smart meter will tell them. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. North Shore says grow some food. Yeah. It's not rocket science, but I will say that you learn uh, year by year. You get better at it. Um, and this year we have lots of food, or vegetables, lots. Um, yeah. Okay. But I'm going to end this live stream now, and I want to thank you all, and especially those of you who are in North America. It must be like midnight or the middle of night here for you. I touched the subject, just trying to do my best here to find the right words and apply some logic, sense, and reason. I just want people to have a good life, to accept who they are. Now, we should always try to improve ourselves, but I think it all needs to start with accepting who we are, not trying to change who we are with, hormones and cutting things off. And it's like, not many years ago, if you had suggested such a thing, people would have called you crazy. And I'm not going to call those people crazy, but I'm just saying that, can we just try to accept ourselves? It's It's a good way to start. It's a good way to start. Um, and yeah. Okay, I haven't had my breakfast, so I'm going to have to go now. And again, thanks a lot. And as always, stay strong.